Tinder has been a great acquisition channel for us. One of the primary channels for picking up new subscribers, for me at least, over the past 12 months. As with any kind of form of black hat marketing, the channels do always come to an end eventually. We're using these platforms in ways that they're not intended to be used. We are trying to exploit these platforms for personal gain. And eventually they become harder and harder to do. And yeah, I'm kind of used to this. Like, I've dealt with this throughout my whole career. Like, I've always worked in black hat marketing and growth hacking, which is generally we are looking for ways that we can use these platforms to market business that I'm working with. But nonetheless, like, I'm sad to have to make this video more of an announcement, really. Yeah, so this is more of an announcement, but I'm going to try to add in some useful insight and information to just still deliver value, and also to explain like where we're at and how we're moving forward. So I guess the first question, why close down the service? The main reason is just Tinder has become increasingly hard to recreate, and we have always had like workarounds for this, and I believe that I had one again. So last Sunday I flew back to Georgia to our main office. I was in the office working with the team the whole week, trying out new strategies. And I had a new strategy, thinking that I was a clever boy. I had a new strategy that kind of worked. Like, we were able to shave off 4 days off of the account creation time. On Monday we made 130 accounts, but then by Tuesday morning when I came in, we only had about 20 or 30 of the accounts active. The remainder of them either required verification, which we have a bypass for. Like, it's not a huge issue, but it definitely does mean Tinder is detecting that something isn't right. If they are requesting verification from you to prove that you are a real person and to take the selfies and so on, they are suspicious of something. And the rest of them were either shadow banned or just outright banned altogether. Now, previously it would take us about 4 days to get accounts made and activated. So there was like significant improvement on that front, but the issue really is getting the accounts to consistently come active. The accounts aren't free for us to make. Like, for all of the clients, we offer an unlimited account recreation. In the event the account is banned, or in the event an account is shadow banned for more than 48 hours, it costs us about $3 to recreate an account, plus the time input from the team, plus the added workload of trying to keep the customer updated on the status of the account. And when it's as volatile as it has been, if we've been seeing with creating 130 accounts and like 20 or 30 of them come active, and then we have to update the remainder of the statuses, it just creates quite a lot of workload. Yeah, and I guess a final kind of cherry on the cake, so to speak, is if we have a client that orders 10 Tinders and 10 Bumbles, let's say, in 100% of cases at the moment, we would be hearing from a client that Bumble is driving more volume than Tinder, and they will know this because in the direct messages, it will be saying that they will say, hey, matched with you on Bumble. One kind of added benefit of this that could be a factor is that on Bumble, the female has to initiate the conversation. If you match with someone, if the girl doesn't initiate the conversation, the male isn't able to start talking. So when we have the Instagram linked in the bio, I think that does help to push traffic over. So that is definitely one factor. But we're also hearing of like better return on investment coming from Bumble as well. And I think Bumble offers a higher quality audience. Like, one thing that would act in evidence to that is that a subscription on Bumble is about $50 per month. It, give or take, it varies slightly based on your geolocation. Whereas a Tinder premium subscription is anywhere from $3 up to about $20. I think maximum is $30 that I've ever seen for a Tinder subscription. And what that is telling you is that the audience on Bumble is actually willing to spend more money. And I think that kind of translates across into OnlyFans as well, in terms of purchasing subscriptions, but also purchasing more pay-per-view. On top of that, we also have more positive feedback and more clients scaling up on Bumble at the moment, which of course is just better for the team to work with and easier to manage from our side. So leading on to that as well, when you also can factor in that Bumble is actually easier for us to set up, we can have a Bumble created and active in less than 24 hours compared to on our previous Tinder strategy, it was taking about 4 days. Ban rates are also lower for us, so that means less account recreations, We also very rarely see shadow bans on Bumble as well. The accounts are going to either be in status active, need verification, or banned, compared to Tinder that can be stuck in multiple different stages. And it just becomes more complex for our team to manage. And that's the other thing to remember. Like, there is a team of people behind the scenes putting all of this together for our clients. And the more complex the platform, the more different stages in the platform, the more complex our system needs to be, the bigger the team needs to be, the more management required from our side, which just leads to like more complex service delivery. Of course, it's much easier if we're able to like streamline down our operations. So for all of these reasons, I think it's a no-brainer really to move away, to discontinue the Tinder service. If a client gets better results elsewhere and the service is easier for us to deliver, it just couldn't be more obvious. It's kind of 80-20 at its finest. Another point to add is our agency also works by achieving a return on investment for clients, right? I'm not really interested in working on like a 5-account order, which for us is like a $125 per month subscription. So the primary goal of our agency always has to be to generate a return on investment so that the client scales up to 30, 50, 80 accounts right there, adds in multiple girls, scales up there as well. That's when it becomes like worthwhile. A $125 per month subscription for me to manage 5 accounts based on all of the work that goes into them. It's there as a way for someone to get their foot in the door, but the end goal for us as an agency always has to be to get them to scale up. So when we are seeing more customers scaling up through Bumble and more issues occurring through Tinder, again, it's just another reason to add to the list. Yeah, so it just makes sense for us to like put Tinder on pause whilst Bumble is outperforming in all areas. And at the same, it's easier for us to make, faster to make, less customer support and more streamlined logistics from like a service delivery point of view. At the same moment, I'm continuing to test Tinder. I definitely haven't given up on it as an acquisition channel altogether, and at a smaller scale, we are able to have it running. But of course, like just for the reasons mentioned above, it makes sense, at least for now, until I figure out some new strategies or there's like a change in the OnlyFans market.